If it's Monday night, oh yes it is. Ridiculously Raw. Hello friends, Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyle, the man who tells it like it is. Here with you for another edition of Ridiculously Raw, another exciting edition of Monday Night Raw. I mean, they're on a roll, guys. I'm telling you. I mean, we've been getting some good shows over the last few weeks. I mean, after all those months of horrific shows, and I tell you, they did it again tonight. Yes, there will be some cutouts. I mean, of course. I mean, we can't have one of these without cutouts now, can we? But nonetheless, we got another exciting show here for you tonight, as we're going to review what was the go home show for the Roadblock End of the Line pay-per-view network special on Sunday night for this Monday Night Raw. And then I'll also have my Tony's take on the latest 205 Live, which is going to feature a constructive criticism type rant, if I'm going to be real honest with you. And then my thoughts on the last installment of Impact Wrestling, which featured another exciting main event. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, Impact Wrestling's been putting on some damn good main events. And look what Monday Night Raw's been doing with their main events as of late. Come on. Unreal. But so with all that being said, I'm joined as always by my elite panel, of course. We have the host of the Cerebral Smack Talk, the one and only Good Old MF, Michael Fletcher. He's with us. And, of course, we also have a very nervous phenom, Michael Bullock. And I do mean nervous because his beloved New England Patriots are in a dogfight right now with the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football at Gillette Stadium. And we're going to keep an eye on that action for you folks. If any updates come in, we'll be sure to pass it on to you because it's a game of enormous magnitude as far as the AFC, not just the AFC playoff picture, but our power rankings in general. The Dallas Cowboys lost last night, and the New England Patriots are playing for that number one spot. If they win, they get it. If they don't, well, then who's number one? Well, we'll answer all those questions Friday night. So I know MF wanted to chime in with a thought, but hold that thought, MF.
No, I was probably gonna tell you who was gonna be the new number one, but I'm not. But because of that, I'm holding off.
Yes, hold that thought. So, so with that being said, let's dive on in, guys. Another installment of Monday Night Raw, and this was, of course, like I said, the go-home show for the Roadblock End of the Line pay-per-view event. This Raw was live from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or as MF likes to call it, the Illadelph. And, well, something that we normally don't start the show off with. I mean, usually when we have a Monday Night Raw or whatever, what does it almost always start with? Elongated windbag talking segment. Clearly, that's where TNA gets it from. And not this time. Oh, no. We actually started it off with a match. That's right. It was a match. Wasn't just any match. It was a triple threat match for the Raw Tag Team Championship. We had the New Day defending the titles against both Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson and Sheamus and Cesaro. The winners of the match in 11 minutes and 55 seconds. And still your, come on, boys, WWE World Tag Team Champions. Because New Day rocks. New Day rocks. Hit it. Yeah, buddy. That's how you start off a Ridiculously Raw right there. New Day win it. They retain the Raw Tag Team Championship at 11 minutes and 55 seconds. I got to say, second best fight of the night. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. It's always nice, and not to mention refreshing, when Raw breaks from its formula and starts with a match instead of a long talking segment. But I thought they could have made this a hook for the show by saving it for later or even the main event slot. Did they hold it early because they wanted to get the show off to a strong start or so that they could do a bunch of party skits? I guess we'll find out. It'll be interesting to see how long the New Day reign lasts now that they maybe break the record, assuming they don't defend the titles again before the end of the show. Could there be a little hook there? But yeah, there was some great action in this one. I mean, some great close near falls. Definitely that element of Shakespearean drama. And you know how much we here at the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports love drama of any kind. And I mean, what else is there for me to say? So the pin felt like it came as a surprise to everyone. And Michael Cole exclaimed that New Day made history as the longest reigning tag team champions ever, but it's not midnight yet. And they've stressed the record doesn't get set until midnight. So that's really all there is to say on that. So for me, for my money, it was the second best fight of the night. 3.25 to 3.5 stars in a very good and wonderful way to start off Monday Night Raw, let alone a go-home show for your Raw exclusive final pay-per-view event of 2016, Roadblock, End of the Line. Philadelphia, you were on fire during that bout. But then again, they were on fire throughout the night. But then again, it's the Philadelphia. Expect anything different? Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. I'm very curious. How did you rate that opening match and not elongated windbag talking segment like it usually is?
Three stars for me. And the thing is that, you know, we talk about IWC hotbeds, and Philadelphia is that. You know, they've been through a lot. This is one of the territorial homes of the World Wrestling Federation way back when. It's also a New England wrestling, well, not a New England wrestling, but a Mid-Atlantic wrestling organization home bed, and it was actually, if you think about it, it was the original birthplace of ECW. So I mean, there's a lot of history in Philadelphia, and Philly just knows how to do it. It doesn't matter how it comes up. Each and every time they do it, they just represent, and they gave Philly a show and then some. This was a solid fight. This was a great battle. This was a tremendous way to start the event, and I for one was very impressed with everything that they did. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I was kind of hoping Cesaro and Sheamus would have won the belts here, but you know, they did. They won it. They keep the belts. Good for them. Congratulations. At the end of the day, no pun intended, you know, we were saying, was this gonna be the night? And you know, record is right there, and it was there for the taking. And New Day got the job done. They won it, and at the time, we believed that this was gonna be the moment that they got it. There's nothing more to say. They were going to be the new record holders for the tag team titles, longest running tag team champions in the history. How crazy is that? On Monday Night Raw, we saw when Nikki Bella broke the record of Brie Bella, or I should say of AJ Lee, and it looks like the New Day was going to do something that was even more illustrious because of the fact that the record that they were going to break was a record that is held by, at least in my mind, in Anthony's mind, I know even Derek Ferrera will agree with this, that the Demolition record is held in such high regard that it is practically, I think we can say it like this, you know, like Cal Rickham's record, 21-31, when he broke it, is virtually impossible to break. We never thought that was going to be broken. I don't think in our right minds, or even in our hearts, ever thought this record could be broken, and it looks like it will be broken. You know, but like I said, you gotta get through the entire show, and trust me, was not done yet. They had another hurdle they were going to have to break in order to do the to break the record. So it's not theirs yet, but definitely a step in the right direction, no doubt about it. So 3 stars for the rating. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I do agree. This was a 3-star rating, and this was the second best fight of the night. It was definitely good for what it was, and yeah, like you, I was kind of hoping to see Cesaro and Sheamus become the tag team champions, but hey, congratulations, and yeah, you basically, well, for New Day, they basically had to get through the whole night if they want to survive to become the new longest reigning tag team champions of all time. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say about it. So 3 stars is my rating. So Florio, let's move on.
And we usually don't get into backstage stuff or anything that's not in ring or what have you. But in this case, well, what happens here is New Day had a celebration set up. It's almost like what you see in sports for like a World Series celebration or a Stanley Cup or the NBA Finals or maybe even the Super Bowl. But it's usually more known for the World Series and the Stanley Cup. It was kind of like one of those celebrations. New Day, well, particularly Mr. Woods, and no pun intended where I'm about to go with this. Well, he got a little too antsy with the champagne, and of course, they were joined by not only Raw General Manager Mick Foley, but also by Commissioner Stephanie McMahon, as well as some superstars and maybe some mutual friends, maybe some plants, maybe, I don't know. But they celebrated. They had a big old, they had this like punch bowl with Bootios inside. They had a Bootios punch bowl, a punch bowl full of Bootios and, the champagne and everything else. And Mr. Woods got a little too antsy with the champagne. And, well, let's just say Stephanie got doused with the champagne. And, well, you do that to the $1 Billion Princess, well, she's going to let you know about it. She tipped over that. She literally flipped the bowl of that punch bowl of Bootios that Big E was scarfing down, if you do know what I mean. And she left the room in a very, very hot bit of rage. Mick Foley tried to calm her down, and it led off to Universal Champion Kevin Owens in the back telling Stephanie New Day needs to be taught a lesson. And, well, apparently Stephanie agreed, and, well, we're going to get into that in just a minute. But gentlemen, hold off for a little bit because, well, as per our tradition here on Ridiculously Raw, it's cutout time. And our first cutout happens to be, well, Roar. It's a Braun Strowman squash. Latest victim, Curtis Axel. For anybody who expected this to be a Flair Steamboat 5-star classic, you were sadly mistaken. Strowman squashed him in 1 minute and 15 seconds. That's it. So that was that. So it was 1 minute and 15 seconds. Braun Strowman had his way with Mr. Axel. So that's honestly, did you expect anything different? No. Come on. So with that being said, it's a no rating to a dud, and that's all I can say about that. So it leads into another cutout, a cruiserweight match. It was Aria Daivari going up against Lince Dorado. Fight ends in a no contest in 2 minutes and 35 seconds after Jack Gallagher came out and he actually announced his intentions of interference. Oy. That's another no rating to a dud. Gallagher stating that he's an extraordinary gentleman and then announcing his intention of interfering in the match was great. He is the best thing going in the cruiserweight division right now, even though he's not the champion. Of course, that's Rich Swann. And then, well, now we're going to get the guys back in because now we go back to something of relevancy. it was the Rollins report, and Seth Rollins brings out the Universal Champion Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens makes an announcement. He announces that after having his little chat with Stephanie McMahon, that the New Day were not done defending their tag team championships. No. And Michael Bullock was right about this during our Raw chat tonight. Stephanie would announce that the New Day would be defending their tag team championship one more time against Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. And then that brings out Jericho. And then they talk up, and then him and Owens talk about, you know, their little the little rift that's going on between them right now. And then Rollins with his response with his snappy banter. For me, it's a co-segment of the night. I was going to give it the full-on segment of the night, but there was another thing that happened later in the show that I thought was just as good, and I cannot put one over the other, honestly, because they were both equally great. The brawl was awkward because it seemed like the fans wanted to cheer Rollins, yet many had no interest in rooting for Reigns, and that's really all there is to say on that. So, yeah, there was an awkward brawl, and, you know, Roman Reigns comes out and the whole 9 yards. And, of course, anytime you see Reigns and Rollins together, you know it always comes to mind. Shield reunion. Anyone? So, went a little overboard on the schematic. I do apologize on that because it's good old MF who starts this thing off. So, MF, let's get you back on in the Rollins report with Seth Rollins. And then, you know, he brings out Owens, and then Jericho shows up, and then Jericho and Owens attempt to beat down Rollins, and then out comes the big dog Roman Reigns, and a brawl was on. So I assume you enjoyed it, especially with that Pier 6.
Yeah, it was good. I'm not gonna deny that. I thought it was a solid segment. I just think that it could have gone a little more differently. It could have gone a little more better. But I'm not gonna say too much about it, but I will say this. I thought it was really good. I liked the body of work of everybody involved, and it was really nothing bad to say. I think we all think that it was, you know, it was fine for what it was worth. It felt so good seeing these guys do what they did in that ring, and, you know, I got nothing bad to say. So no, for me, this was solid. I love the body of work. Yeah. And I'm going to say it, Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I just got an update. The Patriots looks like they're about to take a 30-20 lead on a 79-yard touchdown reception by Chris Hogan. So, yes, sorry about that. I just got a little caught up on it. Just wanted to update you on that. So, Floria, what were we talking about?
The Rollins report segment with Rollins and Owens and Jericho and Roman.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a fine segment for what it was. I mean, it wasn't anything special. Kevin Owens, of course, basically grabbed his own chair saying, you know what, I'm just going to sit here on the stage. And then he says, you know what, we're going to challenge the New Day for the tag team titles. And it's going to be me and Chris Jericho. And Jericho looks like they still weren't on the same page, and then now they are on the same page, and in a 2-on-1 beatdown of Seth Rollins, and out comes Roman Reigns, and yeah, I mean, segment was fine for what it was. Florio, it is yours.
All right. Let me find my note here on this. Having a little bit of a slow loading here situation. Yeah, nothing new. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a co-segment of the night for me. I mean, you know, fine for what it was. I mean, there was another segment that I thought was a little bit better, if I'm being honest. And well, it was a solid segment to sell 2 of the top pay-per-view matches for Sunday, and the brawl was awkward. I'll be honest, because it seemed like the fans wanted to cheer Rollins, yet many had no interest in rooting for Reigns. However, I like the expected announcement of Owens and Jericho challenging New Day the Owens and Jericho dynamic is interesting, and it's a meaningful match with the duo trying to prevent New Day from tying the record. And let me see, do I have any other liner notes on this? No, I think that's pretty much. I think I've pretty much spoken my piece on that. So that's pretty much it on that. So now we're gonna move on to our next match, and well, since this is a cruiserweight match, of course, Michael Bullock, you know how he is. He's obviously continuing his boycott of the cruiserweight division. So that's it. And then, but Michael Fletcher and I will get into it because MF is. We all know MF is not as boycottish as Bullock is, but it was we renewed a rivalry here. It was D. Brian Kendrick going up against T.J. Perkins, TJP, who of course possesses the best entrance in all of professional wrestling with his "Playing with Power" theme song. Of course, we all know how much we love that. Winner of the match in 8 minutes and 35 seconds, the Brian Kendrick, and believe it or not, it was not the Captain's Hook that did it. It was a vintage Kendrick win, the sliced bread number 2. We haven't seen that since his days with Paul London. Remember how fun they were to watch way back when they were elongated tag team champions over on SmackDown about a decade ago? Yeah. So Kendrick won it in 8.5 minutes, and it was announced that at Roadblock, end of the line, both the Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins are both going to challenge Rich Swann in a triple threat match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship based on what happened on 205 Live, which I will get into when I do my Tony's take on that. But nonetheless, as I look at my scorecard here, based on how everything I had, I believe I called this the third best fight of the night. Yes, I did. Third best fight of the night, 2 3/4 stars. Pretty good stuff overall. They work well together, but I am burnt out on the pairing. I was also not a fan of Perkins losing ahead of the title match. There are approximately 15 cruiserweights doing diddly squat. So why not both 2 matches so both challengers get wins and gain momentum ahead of the pay-per-view? That would have been a good idea. So I would have had Kendrick probably going up against Dorado, and then maybe have Perkins go up against Davari. And then you could have worked the Gallagher angle into that. If they had done that, that would have been fine booking. But as fine as this match was, I don't blame Michael Bullock for boycotting the cruiserweight division. You know why? I mean, WWE has done such a god-awful job of booking this division. I mean, it's almost as bad as what TNA does with the X division, almost week in, week out. Although they're getting better, but they're still a work in progress, a major work in progress. So I don't know what to say. But other than that constructive criticism, very good. Another great match between these two. But, it's tired and it's played out, and we need some more fresher feuds in that cruiserweight division if we're going to take it seriously, which Michael Bullock is not. And like I said, I don't blame him for boycotting. So with that said, 2 3/4 stars, third best fight of the night for me. So, MF, your thoughts on the latest installment of the TJP Brian Kendrick rivalry?
I'm going to go 3 stars. I thought this was a very solid fight. I kind of disagree with you on that. And yes, I understand. I really think Perkins should have gotten. I think they should have done the 2 different matches, get the 2 guys some momentum. But unfortunately, they didn't do that. They gave us this, and this was a solid fight. I mean, yes, I know a lot of people was thinking, "Oh, this should be better," but it is what it is. I got nothing bad to say about it. I was hoping for something a little more. Fine. But no, this was a solid fight. I really enjoyed this match very much so. So nothing bad to say. Let's just move on to the next thing.
And one other thing they could have done is during one of those bouts, maybe they could have put Rich Swann on commentary and get his thoughts on his upcoming triple threat match with Kendrick and Perkins on Sunday night in Pittsburgh. So that's really all there is to say on that. So with that being said, let's move on to our next match. And, we have another cutoff here. It was a return match from last week. It was Bayley, along with her wacky, wavy, arm flailing, inflatable tube men, Yeah. You know how much I love that. I love it just as much as Saxton does. And then from there, it was Bayley going up against Alicia Fox. Bayley won the bout in 2 minutes and 55 seconds with the Bayley to belly. Another no rating to a dud. It was fine, and the right person won. So that's all there is to say on that. Now
I want to jump in real quick because I know it's a no rating. I know it's a dud, but give credit to Alicia Fox for putting some offense in there. She was definitely more of the aggressor. It wasn't your typical standard way that the match ended. I thought they did a lot more better than the way that the fight turned out. But you want to go a little tea leaves on this as well. The reason why the fight was provoked was, well, I guess there was a backstage thing. Now, this was during the pre-Raw show, and it actually prompted this because I guess Bayley got a little too close to Cedric Alexander, and the next thing you know,
yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happened. And the angle with yeah, I mean, I think we might
just
have
wanted to give like 2 cents on that, but we can move on now.
okay. So but yeah, MF pretty much said it all. To sum it all up, okay, we get it. Bayley can beat Alicia Fox. Next, we get into the next segment, and well, another interesting follow up here. We had another bit of a storyline progression, and Monday Night Raw's actually been getting good at that lately. They're finally, I guess they've been watching SmackDown Live, who as we all know are the masters of storyline progression. And well, we had an in-ring segment. We had Rusev and Lana in there, and they were teasing about a video of the two of them behind closed doors. Well, no, it wasn't what you thought it was. I saw this coming from a mile away. What it really was they were just showing, or they were just recapping what they did to in that hotel room a week ago, or in that what I call Fatal Attraction segment. That's what I call it. It was the Fatal Attraction angle, as I call it. And yeah, and they showed Rusev beating the snot out of Enzo Amore. Big Cass, you know, he basically said that Enzo's out, and well, he runs his mouth, but he had the cojones to back it up. And Enzo got caught with the pants down, but I got my pants on. Let's go. And there they go, and then they go at it. But the one thing that really stood out to me was when Lana did two things that stood out. Michael Bullock and I noticed this during the segment. I don't know if MF noticed it, but there was a sign in the crowd. There was a sign in the crowd that said Lana Hearts Ellsworth. Whoa. Lana Hearts Ellsworth. Very creative. Whoever came up with that sign, very creative. And then from there, the other thing that stood out was when Lana did the CRUSHED, crushed, as a little poking of when Enzo and Cass do the SAWFT. So, but other than that, this was another good segment. This is not my other co-segment of the night. There's another one later, but this was a good follow-up, and it's announced. It was announced that on the kickoff show for Roadblock, it's going to be a one-on-one match. We're going to get Rusev one-on-one with Big Cass. So if that's not incentive to tune into the kickoff show, I don't know what is. So that's at 7:00 Sunday night. So so that being said, another solid segment here. So I'm going to give it to MF here, and MF, how did we like this this little segment with Rusev, Lana, and Big Cass leading into that Rusev Big Cass kickoff fight?
Yeah, I'm going to say this. It was a good segment. There's really nothing bad to say about it. I think everybody played their part really well. But what really angered me as a Enzo and Cass was the way Lana kind of, poked fun at the SAWFT. And I could say something else that would be 5 letters, and I'm not afraid to spell it out. It is a PG show, so I can't spell it out because I would be in trouble with the producers of the show. But yeah. So I got really nothing bad to say about it. It was like you said, it was a good segment, solid for what it was worth, and nothing more to say. So, you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a fine segment for what it was, and yeah, I did notice that whole that sign there, and yeah, I really got a kick out of it, and yeah, but yeah, yeah. So there's really nothing more to say. I mean, Floria. I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. I mean, as far as the match goes, I think it could be fine for what. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Floria, what's yours?
To sum it all up, the segment was solid enough. Yeah, that segment was solid enough to set up the match, but it lacked any real heat or aggression. It existed. Well, I'm afraid I have some bad news. Before the next match, you remember, I believe it was last week. I think they made the official announcement. They had made what we thought was the official announcement that Emelina was going to debut on Monday Night Raw for this week. Well, sorry, I'm afraid I got some bad news, especially for you, MF, because you are the biggest Emma mark that we know. She wasn't on the show. If you thought we were going to see her, you thought we were going to see Emelina? Not so fast, my friend. And Emma sent out this tweet earlier tonight. All you cared about were the hashtag 4 horsewomen. Now I finally have your attention and I'm supposed to fall at your feet? Yeah, right. Hashtag Raw. So, premiering soon.
Emelina was what? Wait, sweetheart. Whoa. Hold on. I've been waiting for this debut. I've been waiting for you, sweetheart. And you do the dirty on me? That's how you do the Cerebral Viper? Sweetheart, there's one thing you need to know. You don't tug at Superman's cape. You don't spit in the wind. And you don't anger the Cerebral Viper.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And Michael Bullock and I, we've learned that the hard way with some controversial opinions on these shows over the last few years. So trust us. We know what to do, and that's poking the bear right there. So with all that being said, let's move on. She will be premiering soon. We just don't know when that soon is. So that was basically MF channeling his inner Corey Graves on that. So with that being said, we move on to our next match. It was Sami Zayn one-on-one with Jinder Mahal. Sami Zayn wins the match in 3 minutes and 25 seconds with the Helluva Kick. I know you're expecting me to say no rating to a dud, but you know what? I'm actually going to give it 1 3/4 of a star. Hard to believe. It wasn't bad. It was just boring with 100% too much Jinder Mahal. But that wasn't all. And we're going to get into this. General Manager Mick Foley comes out, and he and him and Sami Zayn had another heated confrontation backstage. Sami Zayn says, "I want Braun Strowman." And Mick Foley says, "No, I can't in good conscience allow you to go against Braun Strowman because of what he can do to people." He says he wants to end your career, and I'm not going to be responsible for that. And Zayn said, "You know what? If you're not going to give me what I want, why don't you just trade me to SmackDown Live? They'll give me what I want." And Foley said, "All right, if you're sure about it, I'll go talk to Daniel Bryan, the general manager of SmackDown Live." And Well, Foley said, you know what, Sammy? I talked to Daniel Bryan, and we're going to trade you to SmackDown Live for a talent of equal value. And he was like, don't you want to know who that talent of equal value is? Yeah, we found out all right. Who was that? Who was that talent of equal value? Michael Bullock's all-time favorite diva, all red and everything, Eva Marie.
Please.
And Corey Graves went nuts. Corey Graves was like, yes. And Byron Saxton let him know, what? And yes. That's what Corey Graves.
We know Corey Graves loves Eva Marie.
Sure does.
Very noteworthy on NXT how high he was on that girl. And let me tell you, when I heard that, I wrote down on my notes that I was going to laugh my head off on that show because I would not even believe that they were thinking about doing that for real.
And here's the thing. It turned out to be a ruse. To light a fire under Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn goes berserk and gets in Mick Foley's face about wanting Braun Strowman. And guess what? Be careful what you wish for, Sammy, because Mick Foley finally gave in and said, all right, Sunday night at Roadblock, you're going to fight Braun Strowman. And he's like, you know what? Braun Strowman says you can't last 2 minutes with him. Well, Mick Foley, this is going to be it's going to be a one-on-one match, but it's going to be a time limit match here. Foley says, "You're going to go. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to prove everyone wrong, and to prove why people should believe in you." So that's all there is to say on that. So I believe we're going to start off with Michael Bullock on this. So Michael Bullock, let's get you in here. Don't talk about the fight. It was a cutoff fight with Zayn and Mahal. Only get into the segment with Zayn and Mick Foley. So Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Man, the whole segment. I mean, we were all thinking. I mean, oh boy, was he really going to get traded to SmackDown Live? And then when Mick Foley said Eva Marie, I was like, what? But then in the end, it all turned out to be a hoax. I guess it was basically to light a fire under Sami Zayn, and basically says, you know what? You now got your match with Braun Strowman, and you have to turn to that dark side to an evil side if you're gonna be able to last 10 minutes with Braun Strowman. So yeah, you could say this was pretty much Mick Foley motivating Sami Zayn, and if he's going to stand a chance against him. So, man, this was a crazy segment here. So, Florio, it is yours. I don't even know what else is there to say.
I know what else there is to say. This was my other segment of the night. That's what I'm going to say. Really good segment. I have been on board with the Strowman versus Zayn since the beginning. They can do a lot with it for both guys. These promos for Zayn have been great, and Strowman working with Zayn will help him grow as a performer. So, I mean, the intensity on both men were there. I mean, Sami Zayn took it to a whole new level tonight. Unbelievable. Mick Foley, you know how intense he gets. I mean, we've seen it over the years, and I loved his intensity as well. And teasing that they were going to trade him to SmackDown Live for Eva Marie. I mean, and Sami Zayn saying, I'm worth more than 100 Eva Maries. I'm worth more than 1,000 Eva Maries. I mean, that was unbelievable. So there's really nothing left for me to say. I mean, I could really make an argument that this was the segment of the night, honestly. So, and you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Screw the whole segment of the night. This actually was the segment of the night for me. So, well done, Mick Foley. Well done, Sami Zayn. We'll see what the match entails on Sunday night with Strowman and Zayn, but I don't have too high of hopes for it, but hopefully they prove me wrong. So, MF,
just a minute, Florio. It is a final. The New England Patriots have beaten the Baltimore Ravens 30-23 is the final.
and the Patriots will go to 11-2. The Ravens will drop to 7-6. New England now the number 1 seed in the AFC, and well, I think it's very likely that they're going to be back in a familiar spot in our power rankings on Friday night, if you know what I mean. And with the Baltimore loss, the Pittsburgh Steelers are now back in first in the AFC North. So, MF, your thoughts on that segment? How do you follow that?
All right. First off, I want to say that, yeah, I thought it was a really good segment. I loved Foley's fire and passion and intensity, no doubt about it. It was also a great thing to see as well. Sami Zayn has been virtually been rendered useless. I'll say that for a little while now, but he's been wanting a piece of Braun Strowman for a little bit after he got squashed. But I love this because it's the little guy wanting to fight with the big man and to have a battle, to have a war, to have everything going on one-on-one, do everything that it needs to be done. And at the end of the day, it's how's it going to play out? How's it going to look? How's it going to be everything and then some? And I truly believe it's going to look really good. So, I mean, a 10-minute match, how's it going to look? Well, we'll wait and see. But I'm very excited, to say the very least. So, let's say that. All right. Back to you, Florio.
Fair enough. And Eva Marie sent out a tweet saying negotiations fell through, #Raw can't afford my contract. At WWE, #call my agent. So that's all there is to say on that. And now we move on to the main event of the evening. We thought it was going to be the New Day going up against Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens in a straight-up tag team match for the tag team championship. Not so fast, my friend. Earlier in the evening, during another backstage segment, Mick Foley caught up with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns as they were walking backstage, and he adds them to the match. So this is a triple threat match, a second triple threat match for the tag team championship. New Day defending against both Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. When all was said and done, the winners of the match in 20.5 minutes, and still now we can do it, boys. WWE
World Tag Team Champions.
Because
New
Yeah.
Day rocks. New
Day
Day
rocks.
rocks. Ver.
Woo! Yeah, buddy. The New Day somehow, some way, do the unthinkable. They knock off Jericho and the Mini Shield reunion and are still the WWE World Tag Team Champions. They win it in 20.5 minutes. All kinds of chaos in the end. It looked like Jericho were going to win the belts, but then Owens. I mean, what happened here is they go for it was a great near fall on Xavier Woods, a pop-up powerbomb into a code breaker. Rollins made the save, and then Rollins shoves Jericho into Owens, a pedigree to Jericho, and then Xavier Woods, right place at the right time, falls on top of Jericho, gets the 1-2-3, and retains the WWE World Tag Team Championship. There's nothing left for me to say on this except fight of the night. What else is there for me to say? Oh, my Lord in heaven, what a match. A great main event with more Shakespearean drama than usual, thanks to the record being at stake. It was a bit alarming early on when the fans sat on their hands during the entrances, and really until the epic Tower of Doom spot, greatest Tower of Doom spot I ever saw. But they got into the action and the near falls down the stretch. As fun as the main event was, it didn't do enough to set the stage for Roadblock, end of the line. It was more about New Day breaking the record and the bickering between Owens and Jericho. Reigns spearing Owens helped, and I suppose the bickering is WWE's way of saying that viewers don't have to worry about Jericho interfering in the Roadblock main event. based on the reactions that Reigns continues to get, this might be one time that the majority of fans would be happy to see Jericho save Owens. And like I said, I thought this was a great match with a great pace and just a lot of fun action-wise. They also weaved in a lot of story stuff for Rollins versus Jericho and Owens versus Reigns, and also did what appears to be the official breakup of Jericho and Owens, all while New Day sets the record. 20 minutes and 20 seconds to 20 minutes and 30 seconds. Another week and another epic main event on Monday Night Raw. My rating, solid 4 stars. Unbelievable, guys. I mean, over the last, 2-3 weeks now, we've had epic main events. I mean, well, it was the main event segment last week. That main event segment with Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair and what she did to Ric Flair, her father slapping him in the face, and then the whole thing with Sasha setting up that Iron Woman match. And then the week before, when Sasha and Charlotte tore the house down in Charlotte with that 5-star classic Falls Count Anywhere bout. So another week, another great main event, and it's making me, and it's finally gotten that very bitter and bad taste out of our mouths for over about a year or two ago, back when we were getting main events with Authority shenanigans. Well, the days of Authority shenanigans are long gone. Praise the Lord. So that's all there is to say on that. 4 stars, fight of the night, and for the 3rd week in a row, an epic main event. Well done, Raw. You're getting better. SmackDown Live, take notes. And speaking of that, let's throw it to Mr. SmackDown Live himself. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. What do you think about that?
I disagree with the taking notes. I mean, remember, SmackDown Live was the original good shows and everything else. It seems like Monday Night Raw finally got their heads out of their you-know-what's, sticking it into the sand, where Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon was literally running the show into the ground floor, yo. So need I remind you about that first. Second of all, without a doubt, fight of the night, 4 stars, unbelievable match. That's what you're expecting out of your tag team division. That is what you're getting now. And I'm glad that Monday Night Raw is finally being firmly committed into their body of work in the whole 9 yards. But, most definitely, it was a great battle. It was a great war. And on top of that, it gave us what we wanted, and that was a solid main event. Yes, they did curve a little bit of the rivalry, where they were hinting one way or another where this is gonna play out. At first, we were looking at maybe it being, Jericho to do the job and win it. But then once it happened and the whole 9 yards, it went one way. And then, it was an amazing battle. Then the next thing we know, it was, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, how great they were in the battle, how epic that team up is. And people love them so much. Well, they love Rollins, Roman not so much, but I can tell tonight, I think the fans were a little more for Roman Reigns. I mean, I don't know if it was me, but I thought I heard more cheers than boos. Yes, it was boos, but I think there were more cheers this time around for Roman. He didn't get literally booed out of the building like in the past. So they were there. At the way that it was going and the way that the night had been, I think it's just been an incredible evening, to say the very least. So, nothing more to say about it. 4 stars, fight of the night, amazing way to close the show. And gentlemen, we have hit midnight on the East Coast. You know what that means. New Day has tied 778 days they've done it. They are now going to become the longest running tag team champions in the history of professional wrestling. WWF, WWE, they have done it. They have broken the record. It is theirs. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, definitely 4 stars, fight of the night, and man, what a match this was. I mean, this had Shakespearean drama written all over it, and yeah, we saw everything in this match. We saw the breakup of Jericho, and of course, New Day basically taking advantage of it and are still the tag team champions, and looks like they're gonna break the record. And then of course, after the match, of course, you had, of course, Roman Reigns speared Kevin Owens. So yeah, this is basically a booking 101 situation here, folks. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. 4 stars, fight of the night. Florio, it's yours.
And now we move on to our overall review. And I believe it's MF who starts it off. So, MF, how did this go home to Roadblock end of the line edition of Monday Night Raw rank in your eyes tonight? All right. Fletch, I don't know if you're.
Is he there?
He probably couldn't hear. Well, he was supposed to lead off. With
Fletch, are you there? Don't tell me we lost him.
Now, usually he would indicate if he was maybe something came up for something. I don't know, but
that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know if you're ready yet, Bullock, or if you want, I'll just take it.
Yeah, maybe you should take it.
Yeah, fair enough. I will do that. 7.25 out of 10 is my rating for this. 7.25, straight up 7.25. Tonight's Raw was a good show. New Day sets the record and are way stronger leaving the show and feel as if they have a ton of momentum. They also did a good job of setting the stage for Sunday's pay-per-view. This truly felt like an effective go-home show. I also felt that the show had a good flow, and it did not feel as long as it normally does. And believe me, it does feel long at times. But main event, fight of the night, no doubt about it. The opening match was the second best fight of the night. And then rounding out the top 3, TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick. Throw in some good segments and, a couple of here and there segments. I mean, that Sami Zayn segment I thought was really good. And with Mick Foley and, and then we had 4 cutout bouts, and that's really all there is to say on that. So the New Day were the stars of this show tonight, along with Owens and Rollins and Jericho and Reigns, and that's really all I can say on that. So for me, it's a straight up 7.25 out of 10, no doubt about that. So I don't know if MF's back in yet, but if he is, okay, there he is. So all right, don't know where he went. He probably had something to do. So MF, if you're back in, let's get your overall thoughts on this go home to Roadblock edition of Monday Night Raw. I said 7.25 out of 10. I don't know about you.
I'll give that as well. I'll give it maybe 7.25, 7.5 out of 10. This was a very good show. Nothing bad to say about it at all. Great go home show. New Day is the MVPs. They're now the longest running tag team champions in the history of the company now. And they had to earn it tonight. Not only did they have to win it one triple threat fight, they had to win 2 triple threat matches in one night. They had to they literally defeated 8 tag teams. When you beat Machine Gun Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, then you beat Sheamus and Cesaro. That was the first fight. Then you had to take down Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, and then at the end, winning and outlasting Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins to break the record, make the mark as theirs. I mean, what is there to say? It's a remarkable feat. It's a remarkable record. Now the question is, how long do they keep the belts? Do they lose it on Sunday night? Because from what I've heard, they got to defend the titles again. Do they lose it at the Royal Rumble? Do they lose it at WrestleMania? I mean, how far does this record go now? But whatever the case may be, they've done it. The record's theirs. And as far as everything else goes, I mean, they did a really good job setting everything up. You know, we got a lot of storyline progression, you know, with Cass and Rusev now going at it on the pre-show. We got a lot of building for the WWE Universal title with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens at the end of the evening. It looks like the friendship has indeed imploded right before our very eyes. So how's that going to play out? And we did have a little bit of some storyline progression as well as it pertained to the women's match, the Iron Woman match. It was only a video package, but you know, it set the record straight, and it just led us to something to go even more deeper. So for me, this was solid. This was a great show. 7.25 to 7.5 stars is my rating. So Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it 7.25 to 7.5 as well. I mean, yeah, I loved everything that I saw tonight on the show. I mean, the matches were, both tag team title matches were impressive. I mean, the segments were good, but yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So, Florio, if you're ready, it's time for your Tony's take.
Yes, indeed. And before we do that, let me inform you all of the updated card for Roadblock End of the Line, which we will preview this weekend. We know in the kickoff match it'll be Rusev going up against Big Cass, going one-on-one with Braun Strowman. We got Seth Rollins going one-on-one with Chris Jericho. Triple threat match for the Cruiserweight Championship, Rich Swann versus D. Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins. The 30-minute Iron Woman match for the Raw Women's Championship, Sasha Banks defending against Charlotte Flair. And then, of course, the Universal Championship match with Kevin Owens defending against Roman Reigns. So that should be a very interesting pay-per-view, to say the very least, this Sunday night from the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, exclusively on the WWE Network. So definitely going to be a very interesting card, to say the very least, come Sunday night. So cannot wait to see how that one turns out. So with that being said, let's move on to our next installment of 205 Live. Of course, 205 Live, it came out with a bang. As you know, started off with a major bang as we, of course, crowned a brand new Cruiserweight champion in Rich Swann, who has one of the worst nicknames I've ever seen. Outlandish, please. I mean, I do not like that nickname at all. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, that's god awful. But he made history and he became the new Cruiserweight champion. And I said there was going to be a bit of a rant mixed in with I'm going to have constructive criticism mixed in with a small rant. So when it comes to how this show turned out. So with that being said, let's start it off. We had a one-on-one match. Noam Dar going up against Cedric Alexander. The winner of the match in 10 minutes and 25 seconds, it was Noam Dar with a running drop kick. He puts him into the steel post and hits a running drop kick for the 1-2-3. So 2.5 stars. Noam Dar's work was good and focused, but to me, he feels as if he's missing something. I can appreciate the solid work, but he feels like a going through the motions guy to me all too often. I would probably say maybe second best fight of the night. Then we had Arya Daivari going up against Jack Gallagher. Winner of the match in 6.5 minutes. It was Arya Daivari after a chop block and a frog splash. Another 2.5 stars, but to me this was the worst fight of the night. thanks to Daivari for making Gallagher boring. It was another solid but unspectacular match. And then we had the main event, which was the return match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Rich Swann defending against D. Brian Kendrick. The winner of the match in 12 minutes and 55 seconds, and still Cruiserweight Champion. It is Rich Swann. Default fight of the night, 3 stars. I'm not going to, jump up and down and do cartwheels about it. Between the backstage segment and commentary, they were clearly going for a triple threat with Swann, Perkins, and Kendrick, and that's what happened. TJ Perkins was sitting in on commentary with Corey Graves, Mauro Ranallo, and Austin Aries, and a lot of brouhahas went down. They showed the video package during Raw tonight, and that's what led into the triple threat match that we're going to see Sunday night at Roadblock. So with that being said, my final thoughts on this show, I can only give it a 6 out of 10 for the effort. Now, this is where the rant meets constructive criticism here. I am begging for this show to find the vibe and feeling of the Cruiserweight Classic. The show was not bad by any means, but it doesn't feel like a show I need to see. It feels like a show the company was forced into and doesn't care about. It's a show they have a lot of guys I like signed, but it lacks heart and a must-see vibe. As for this week's show, the main event is good, but nothing you need to seek out. For me, 205 Live is a lot of it's fine, but hasn't made me feel that I need to invest yet another hour into wrestling each week. What do I put in? 8 hours worth of wrestling a week with the 3 hours of Raw, the 2 hours of SmackDown Live, the 2 hours of, and the 1 hour of this, and then the 2 hours worth of Impact Wrestling on Thursday nights. And there's going to be more action because don't forget, Wednesday night, we've got Tribute to the Troops on tap. So, my Lord. But a 6 out of 10 is all I can give it. And, you're lucky I love the division, and you're lucky I love what I saw at the Cruiserweight Classic. Because if it wasn't for that, I would have completely ignored the show, honest to God. So, but nonetheless, and that's the reason why Michael Bullock has boycotted the Cruiserweight division, and I can't say I blame him for it. So, and if it doesn't change, well, I just may end up following suit. So, I really don't want to, but it might be one of those I may have no choice moments. So that's it. I'm done with it. So now let's move on to Impact Wrestling. Let's move on to something more meaningful. Impact Wrestling, of course, you know what happened. We had the big main event. The huge main event, of course, that highly anticipated main event with Eddie Edwards going up against Ethan Carter III, and we're gonna get into that. Trust me, we will, and we're gonna have some fun with that sucker. Trust me on that. So with that being said, let's dive on into Impact Wrestling for last week, which aired on Michael Bullock's birthday, by the way. So we started it off with we started off with a 2-for-1 deal. We started off with your new Impact Grand Champion Moose, basically gloating about his victory over Aaron Rex, and then all of a sudden Drew Galloway is back. Drew Galloway has made his intentions clear. He wants the Grand Championship against Moose, and then Moose accepts, but then Aaron Rex says he mockingly welcomed Galloway back before claiming Moose robbed him of the title, knowing that he was not ready. He wants his rematch tonight, and not really going to get into the talking segment. Let's get into the match itself. It was the return match for the Grand Championship. It was Moose defending against Aaron Rex. Winner of the match at 30 seconds of the third round via pinfall, and still the Grand Champion. It's Moose. Yeah, this was not good. 1.5 stars. After losing the title so quickly last week, Rex needed the longer match for some redemption, but unfortunately, it was only okay at best. And if I'm going to be real honest, it was the second worst fight of the night. There was one match that was actually worse than this. So with that being said, we move on to our next match. It was Mandrews, fresh off his heel turn the week before. He went up against Aiden O'Shea. Winner of the match in 5 minutes and 45 seconds. It was Mandrews with a shooting star press. 2 stars. I was not a fan of how they booked that. Mandrews just turned heel the week before and is likely the next challenger for DJZ in the X Division Championship. Sure, he won, but O'Shea, who hasn't wrestled in seemingly forever, took way too much of the match. This should have been a showcase from Andrews. Then we had a double Indian strap match. Al Snow and Mahabali Shera going up against the Tribunal, Basil Baraka, I love the name, and Baron Dax. Winners of the match in 8 minutes and 15 seconds, it was Mahabali Shera and Al Snow. Yeesh. 1 star for the effort, worst fight of the night. Take a match with 4 guys I care absolutely nothing about, and then have them work a bland version of what should be a heated stipulation, and it was simply no good. I kept waiting for them to make me care, but it never happened. Let's just get rid of all of them, even though I love the name Basil Baraka. I really love that name. And now we're gonna get into and now we got all the negative nonsense out of the way. Now let's get into the good stuff. The Broken Hardy Family Hour. The Broken Hardys. They talked about total nonstop deletion and all that, and all of our favorites, Senor Benjamin, Vanguard 1 will be there. King Maxwell. Main event will be a tag team apocalypto, where the TNA tag titles will be defended against any and all tag teams across time and space. And then that's when the Helms Dynasty showed up. Sugar Shane Helms, Gregory Helms, Hurricane, whatever you want to call him. He brought in he said he was going to bring his boys, Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee, to go against them. And Matt promised their deletion. And then the Decay. Decay's got history with the Broken Hardys. Bound for Glory, anyone? The Great War. Hello. Decay arrived. They wanted in, and they wanted revenge from the Great War. Rosemary was fired up and wants more gold for Decay because, she is the Knockouts champion after that epic 6 Eyes of Steel match with Jade. And then Matt invited them with open arms and promises more deletions. And then he laid out Helms with a twist of fate. Easily, that was the best thing on the show to that point, and it got me hyped for that total nonstop deletion. And then we had an interesting knockouts match. We had Laurel Van Ness, accompanied by Maria Kanellis Bennett, going up against Allie. And this match was made by Billy Corgan, and Billy Corgan put down the stipulation that if Allie won the bout, Allie would get an Impact Wrestling contract. And Allie revealed, somebody's been training me. Braxton Sutter. Now, for those of you who may not know this, in real life, Braxton Sutter and Allie are married in real life. So it was really cool for them to finally incorporate that, because they've been doing a little bit of a romance thing, a love triangle angle with Allie, Braxton Sutter, and Laurel Van Ness. So there's the fight, Allie and Laurel Van Ness. When all was said and done, the winner of the match in 5 minutes and 15 seconds, Allie does it. Allie gets her Impact Wrestling contract. Believe it or not, this was the second best fight of the night. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. The match was what it needed to be as far as the story goes, and the Mike Bennett involvement works as a nice callback, as Bennett abused Braxton Sutter over the summer, beating him for the X Division Championship when Bennett was hoping to use Option C. It opened things up for a mixed tag, and Allie getting Sutter is great revenge for how Van Ness treated her. The Allie character has ended up being a great thing, and the story is working. So that's all there is to say about that. So, second best fight of the night, no doubt about it. Main event of the evening, TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Champion Eddie Edwards defending against challenger and former champion Ethan Carter III. The winner of the match in 25.5 minutes. And still, your TNA World Heavyweight Champion, it's Eddie Edwards, because there was a simultaneous tap and pin. We had basically a non-finish, but we usually crap on non-finishes, but this is one time I'm going to allow it. Far and away the fight of the night. 3 3/4 stars. I felt that was a very good main event and a match that the show needed after a really rough start. They played it very well with EC3 heavily teasing the heel turn last week. During the match, which I felt had a strong layout to play into that, I felt as if there were several places EC3 could have gone out for the easy out and turn, but they held off and will likely use the finish for the catalyst of the turn. Edwards did tap, but since it was a draw, he retains and EC3 fails again. The last 10 minutes of the bout were great, with good teases and near falls. Also, this had a great sense of urgency, with both guys looking as if winning meant everything to them. Well done. One of the better main events I've seen in a while. Overall on this show, 6.5 out of 10. The stuff you need to see, which is what saved the show, was the alley angle, the Hardys setting up total nonstop deletion, and the main event. Skip everything prior to the alley segment, and I mean that. I really do. So 6.5 out of 10. And next week, I don't know how Michael Bullock feels about it, but I do know how MF and I feel about it. It's all about total nonstop deletion.
There's gonna be people that gonna be obsolete. I fade away and try myself as obsolete.
Obsolete.
We're gonna get to see the beautiful Rebby and her 88 keys doing, and actually King Maxwell will make his TNA or total nonstop deletion debut. And I gotta say, I love the setup. I love the at least the arena or where they're doing this in the Hardy compound. I cannot believe TNA this event, and I gotta say it. Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero and that entire Hardy family is the only reason why I'm going to watch this show. That I'm actually going to DVR this show, because quite frankly, I've lost my interest in TNA except for this. This is the only reason why I watch TNA, is when I see these guys do what they do. And I cannot wait for this. I'm so excited for this. For once, TNA did something right. Impact Wrestling did something right. And that is, when you put the Hardys and you put a spotlight on them, I'm telling you right now, wrestling fans is going to go nuts over this, because it's just based off the previews that they've shown. This could be, and I'm going to be honest with you, this could be TNA Show of the Year.
Could be? I think it will
Could be.
You say could be? I think it will be.
I mean, the 2 times that they've done this before, the final, when you had, the final deletion between Jeff Hardy and Broken Matt, and how awesome that was. And then you in, the tag team warfare where Decay, the leader of Decay, and how that epicness has gone down. And now you got all these other wrestling organizations trying to copycat off that, including WWE and some other independent wrestling organizations from around the world. They're trying to get that same aura, that same thing about that the compound and the whole 9 yards. TNA was the originators. Impact Wrestling created that environment. They made it awesome. And now here we go again with the tag team Apocalypto for the titles, elimination style. Every team is invited. And my God, I can't believe this, man. This is going to be so amazing. I can't wait for this. I'm definitely the Brother Nero. Anthony Florio is the Broken Matt Hardy, because he actually's got the character down really good. So I mean, no doubt about it. I can't wait for this show. This is gonna be amazing.
And before you meet your mic, MF, come back in real quick. I wanna ask, with the Broken Hardys, wouldn't you agree with me that what we're seeing with the Broken Hardys, you look at their career, from WWE and now to TNA, would you consider what both of these Hardys, what they're doing right now, would you consider this their personal best work ever? I do.
I think for me, Jeff Hardy was better in WWE. However, Matt Hardy, this is not only his personal best, I think this is probably one of the greatest characters in wrestling history. I'm going to go as far to say that. I mean, for what he has done, creating this broken Matt Hardy character, and to do it in a way and deliver it in a way that he has done, I mean, this was because remember, a lot of people were dumping on Matt Hardy, saying, how he was fat Hardy, he wasn't, he was not in wrestling or something like that. There was a lot of negativity towards Matt Hardy, where Jeff Hardy, the only reason why he wasn't like all-time great was because he was getting in trouble, either having run-ins with the law, getting suspended because of drug use. There was a lot of problems with Jeff Hardy. However, I think Jeff Hardy's greatest work was when he was in WWE and WWF. I think that was really his best time.
Fair enough.
I think for Matt Hardy right now, he is not only this is his best work as a wrestler ever, but he is right now probably one of my favorite superstars in wrestling right now. I mean, I went from being very on the fringe about Matt Hardy to now I'm like one of his biggest supporters right now. But not only does he get major praise and everything else, but I also got to give a lot of love for Reby as well,
yes.
Because I think her characterization, her body of work this is her personal best ever. I mean, she was not really known as a wrestler. She wasn't really that big of a name years ago. I mean, she was a good wrestler and everything else, but what she has done, she's revolutionized herself as one of the top women right now in wrestling as well. So it is definitely a tandem. Matt Hardy and Reby Sky has really exploded in 2016 and cannot wait to see what they bring in 2017, because I think the sky is the limit for all three of them.
I agree. And you're absolutely right. I mean, what Jeff Hardy did in the WWE, especially when he was getting his singles push, when he was winning all those Intercontinental Championships. And then tomorrow is actually going to mark the 8-year anniversary of when Jeff Hardy finally broke through the glass ceiling and finally won the big one, Armageddon, when he won the WWE Championship for the first time in that epic triple threat match against Triple H and Edge. Who will ever forget that in Buffalo? I mean, they tore the house down. I mean, that thing was a damn near 5-star classic, although I rated that 4.5. But nonetheless, I mean, they tore the house down, and Jeff Hardy finally won the big one, won the title. But what Matt Hardy has done in TNA, I mean, like MF said, this is his personal best work. I mean, a renaissance with him. I mean, Reby has brought out the best in him. And then let's not forget about the rest of the family. King Maxwell. I mean, you gotta love that. But for me, what really does it for me, and the two guys who I think, and the two characters who I think deserve a lot more praise, Vanguard 1 and Reby's father, Senor Benjamin. Oh, I love Senor Benjamin. That's my boy, man.
Yes, Senor Benjamin has become, it's almost like if you watch the Dana Le Batard show where Bobby Gonzalo Le Batard has become a fixture and a major fan, in sports. Yeah, Senor Benjamin has become a major player in TNA as well. And Vanguard 1, yeah, he is Vanguard 1 is probably one of the coolest drones in the world. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are going to be for Christmas that they could get their very own Vanguard 1, even though it is not cheap. Those drones are worth a lot of money, folks. And I think, so no, I'm definitely, Definitely.
Walmart selling any of those by any chance?
We do have some. We do have some drones. Yeah, we do sell some drones. I mean, the cheapest one we have is like about $60, but if you're looking for like the really, really, really good ones, like over $100 and beyond, you're gonna have to go to Walmart.com to get them. That's the only way you're gonna get them. But we do sell drones over there, but they're kind of more of the smaller types. But we do have a couple of good ones, but like I said, they're a little pricey. So if you got the money for it, you could get your very own Vanguard one.
That would be cool, but I'm not quite there yet. But I will say this: you see the picture right there. That's what it's all about. You know the old saying: "A picture's worth 1,000 words." From the Dome of Deletion in Cameron, North Carolina, tag team Apocalypto, Falls Count Anywhere match, open to any tag team in space and time. The Broken Hardys, Thursday night. And thank goodness that for once on a Thursday night, we got a sucky game because we got the LA Rams going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, that's going to be a squash for the Seahawks. That's going to be a Braun Strowman-like squash. Let's not kid ourselves. So that game's not even going to be worth watching. And thankfully, they got Impact Wrestling on at the same time, and we can focus our attention on this. And some new details have come out. They came out just the other day. If you follow TNA on Twitter, Sienna is going to be on that show. She's heading to Total Nonstop Deletion. ImpactWrestling.com has more. And not only that, but yeah, we're going to, what do we got here? We got somebody called Itchweed in action. And we even have a bonus. We got a World Heavyweight Championship match. We got Eddie Edwards defending against Bobby Lashley. I mean, my Lord, are you kidding me? Goodness gracious. I mean, you just gotta go to ImpactWrestling.com, and that's where all the good stuff is when it comes. They got Total Nonstop Deletion covered to a T. So yes, Sienna's gonna be there. We're gonna get a world title match. Eddie Edwards against Bobby Lashley one more time, and well, what else is there to say? I mean, it's going to be something really special, and you guys, I mean, you really have to tune in. You just have to. I mean, MF's gonna tune in. I'm damn sure gonna tune in. So yes, Sienna's on the way, and Edwards and Lashley for the title and the whole 9 yards. So watch it Thursday night, 8 Eastern, Pop Television. It's going to be something like the late great Gorilla Monsoon would always say. It's going to be something else. So, all right, that's going to do it for this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We're going to do our shout outs now. I don't know if Michael Bullock is still with us. I hope he is. And if he is, I'd like to start off with him. So Bullock, if you're with us, let's get to your shout outs real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. I guess Bullock is not there, so I'm just going to throw it to MF. Your shout outs real quick, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. First off, special thank you to all the great fans out there that makes the show as amazing as it is. You guys are the best fans in the world. To all my friends in the junior high and high school days, I love you guys. Super fans, you guys know who you guys are. 2184 crew. We're down to the holiday push, and it's been amazing up to this point. Tomorrow, later in the evening is the Cerebral Smack Talk, 10:30 Eastern, folks. So please note the time. 10:30 Eastern is when we're going to start the show. It's going to be myself, Anthony Florio, Michael Bullock. Hopefully he's there. Dee Dee Woodson. Hopefully she's there. We don't know for sure. SmackDown Live. We got some Lucha Underground this time around, so we're going to recap that. Ring of Honor news. Yeah, I got a little Ring of Honor stuff as well. And that is it. So until then, it's Mike Fletcher. You know the routine. Hounds. I'm out. Good night. Anthony, take it home.
Yes, of course. A special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our projects, whatever they are, as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Special shout out to our first lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. along with Kevin Woodson and the entire Woodson family, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway, and the rest of our crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Albert Anderson, Rob Parsons, and I'll save the rest of my shout outs for Friday night. And yeah, so that's it for this. So of course, tomorrow night we got the Cerebral Smack Talk, like MF said, at 10:30. We're gonna review SmackDown Live, and of course, I think we should finally get it this time. The phenomenal AJ Styles to defend what is now being called the WWE Championship. No more WWE World Championship. It's WWE Championship from now on. AJ Styles will be defending that against James Ellsworth.
Actually, I can actually confirm. Yes, it is happening. Tomorrow night will indeed be AJ Styles versus James Ellsworth. And yes, Anthony, you said it. It is gonna be for the WWE title.
Yep, that's it. No more WWE World Championship. It's just the WWE Championship. They came up with a dirt sheet this past weekend referencing that change. And quite frankly, good. I like that. I never liked WWE World Championship to begin with, so good move on their part. Anywho, that's what we're going to get into. We'll review SmackDown Live, and of course, MF11 is Mikey's mindset with the Lucha Underground and the ROH and the whole 9 yards. And then after that, we'll be with you on Friday night for NFL Friday. We'll briefly get into the Rams and Seahawks game on Thursday Night Football, and then we'll preview all the other games, including the headline game of next week, the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship rematch. Of course, some other big games to look forward to. The Detroit Lions against the New York Giants. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. So those to me are the two headliners for next week, although there are a couple of other good ones, but the two big ones for me, Patriots, Broncos, Lions, Giants. Those are the two biggies right there, folks. So that'll be on Friday night. And then Saturday night, whatever time is good for Bullock or Fletcher or whoever, we'll have our preview of Roadblock. I'll run that because, as you all know, Roadblock is a Monday Night Raw exclusive event. And then Sunday night, following the event, following Roadblock, come right back here. We'll have our recap of it. I'll be running that because, remember, that's our creed now. When it's a Monday Night Raw exclusive event, I run the whole thing. When it's a SmackDown Live event, MF runs the whole thing. When it's a joint event, I do the preview, MF does the recap. That's how we do it for the joint events. So that's our decree. So that's all going down Sunday night, and then of course next Monday night, Ridiculously Raw we'll start out all the fallout from Roadblock, and then maybe we can start the early push for the Royal Rumble, because that's the next event after this. So all right, so that'll do it for this. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyo here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the Twisted Angel Didi Woodson, and of course, the man himself, the Hardcore Python Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Race Bay 95, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.